What a wild basketball game tonight between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. This was game one of the NBA Western Conference playoffs. And tonight, the Los Angeles Clippers won 115-110. This was a very entertaining basketball game full with high-level shot making, a lot of impressive play from some superstars. It was a heavy superstar game. On the Phoenix Suns, you have Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. On the Los Angeles Clippers, you have Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook. Of course, Paul George is going to be out for this entire series. This was one that a lot of people have their eyes on. A lot of people picked the Phoenix Suns to win the Western Conference this year. So this is kind of the start of that journey and where this team can go. Post Kevin Durant trade, they've not played a lot of games together, but they were undefeated in games that Kevin Durant started until tonight. There were so many things that were impressive about this performance. In specific, I want to spend some time talking about Russell Westbrook because he probably had the best 3 of 19 performance I've ever seen in my entire life. Kawhi Leonard was phenomenal. And there were a couple things I noticed in this game that we'll have to watch going forward as we head into game 2. The thing we always remember, the thing that we keep bringing up, game 1 does not mean the series is over, does not mean that it's clear who's going to be the winner of the series or who has the advantage. Obviously, you want to win game 1, especially if you're the Clippers, being able to steal that on the road. You've gained home court advantage at that point. Very important. Heading into game 2, that's kind of a must-win game for the Suns. But the series, a 7-game series, is so long, and you're going to go through moments where you feel like the Clippers are the better team. You're going to have moments where you feel like the Suns are the better team. And tonight, the Clippers got the best of them. Before we get into the game, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We are at almost 1,200 subscribers. I think we're only a couple away. So subscribe. We're doing so many playoff videos. We're going to be covering every series. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. So let's look at this here for a second. So for the Los Angeles Clippers, Kawhi Leonard had 38 points, 5 assists. Eric Gordon had 19 points. He was phenomenal in the first half. Zubac had 12 points. Russell Westbrook had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. Terrence Mann off the bench had 10 points. Norman Powell had 14 points. And Mason Plumlee had 7 points, 11 rebounds. I actually think he played a really, really good game off the bench. One of the biggest things I noticed in this game was the bench production from the Clippers was considerably better than what we saw from the Phoenix Suns. That's going to be the big concern. When the Suns made this trade for Kevin Durant, they gave up some of their depth. In order to acquire a player of Kevin Durant's caliber, you do have to lose some of your depth. And I think that's what we saw tonight. They got pretty much nothing from their bench. They got 4 from Shamet, 4 from Landale, and then 2 from Bismack Biyombo, and that's all they got. So they got 10 points off the bench, and the Clippers got, 34? So the Clippers dominated in that battle. Down the stretch of this basketball game, the Clippers fought so hard on the glass, kept getting offensive rebounds, and ultimately it led to them winning the rebounding battle. Let me get this pulled up, 48-42. It was actually 41-40 with a couple minutes left in this basketball game. And down the stretch, the Los Angeles Clippers dominated those final few minutes, and that was the difference in the basketball game. It started with Russell Westbrook and Russell Westbrook's effort. The thing that was so loved about Russell Westbrook his entire career, when he was winning an MVP in Oklahoma City, leading his team to the playoffs, made an NBA Finals alongside Kevin Durant, was the effort, the intensity, the energy that he played with every single night and every single possession. There's been few guys that have ever played with more intensity and more energy every single night. And tonight we saw that again from Russell Westbrook. Yes, shooting-wise, he was terrible. 3 of 19 is awful. And I think he's in his own head with his shot. 1 of 6 from the 3-point line, and the way they just back off of him. He's obviously not producing on the scoring level the way he used to, but he's able to play so well in other areas of the basketball game, and he only had 2 turnovers tonight, which is pretty solid. All in all, the Clippers actually, most of their starters were minus, in the plus-minus, but off the bench, Mason Plumlee was plus 16. Like I said, their bench just dominated this basketball game. Kawhi Leonard, and the battle between Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant was spectacular. And these are the kind of matchups that we long for in the NBA playoffs, and why those super teams were so hard to watch, because when you have two teams that are pretty equally matched or have good players on both sides, you get to see these awesome all-time legendary performances in tight basketball games and big shots be made by big-time players. And Kawhi Leonard in that mid-range is unbelievable to watch. He had 38 points and only hit 3 3-pointers. So he hit 10 shots from 2. And to start the fourth quarter and a decent amount of this game, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard were guarding each other. So to see that matchup, and the fact that when you look at the Western Conference, when you look at the playoffs right now, you have LeBron James still alive. You have Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. You have Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. You have De'Aaron Fox in the Sacramento Kings, Anthony Edwards in the Timberwolves. On the Eastern side, you have Jason Tatum in the Celtics, Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Bucks, Joel Embiid in the 76ers. You have the opportunity to have monster matchups that will be highly entertaining to watch, that will show some of the most highly talented basketball players we've ever seen, that are able to score from anywhere on the court and score at a high level. I think what was key to this Clippers game, they got off to a big hot start. Eric Gordon was really good to start the basketball game. He had 12 points, I think, in the first quarter. They won the first quarter 30-18, and from that point forward, the game was really tight. It was tied going into the fourth quarter, and the Clippers won the fourth by 5 points. They got good production from Terrence Mann, and Norman Powell off the bench is going to be a big key in this series. He played he played a lot of big minutes for them, and provided some key buckets. I think when you're watching this game, when they needed a bucket, it felt like Norman Powell was one of those guys that was out there and performing at a high level for them. Flipping over a little to the Phoenix Suns side, one of the things that you worry about is the lack of time that they've got to play together. How will they mesh when you get to tight basketball games, when you get down the stretch, when the game's close? Because that's when I think team chemistry matters the most. In the second quarter, when Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are able to just isolate and make plays, that team chemistry isn't quite as important than when it's the fourth quarter and defense is a little more intense, the crowd's a little more into it, and you have to get quality shots. And I think down the stretch, we saw the Suns struggle a little bit to do so. Now, DeAndre Ayton was a little up and down in this game. He actually finished with 18 points and 8 rebounds, but there are times that you watch DeAndre Ayton and you're so frustrated, and there's times that he's so good. That Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton pick and roll was unbelievable. Kevin Durant actually had 11 assists. He finished with 27 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds, but they're basically doing a pick and roll from like the like high post, kind of right inside the 3-point line. Ayton sets a little screen, and Durant draws so much gravity that he's able to pass to Ayton for a little quick floater when the switch guy comes down and tries to cover him from the corner. And that's nearly unguardable. So those kind of plays the Suns have in their back pocket, able to get buckets. And we saw them utilize that a lot. I mean, they scored 110 points, but ultimately they weren't able to get stops. And the Clippers offense was just really good tonight. The Suns actually shot a little better from the field. Clippers shot a touch better from 3. Neither team probably is going to hit a ton of 3-point shots. The Suns tend to live in that mid-range, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, even Ayton is kind of a mid-range shooter. And then on the Clippers side, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, those guys are going to play primarily in the mid-range. I think they did a great job with their big man lineup. Zubac and Plumlee, I think, were massive keys to this game. I think they played good on both the offensive and defensive side of the court. Zubac, 12 points, 15 rebounds. Like I said, Plumlee, 11 rebounds. You got 26 rebounds between your two big guys. That'll work. And going against a team like the Phoenix Suns that, they have DeAndre Ayton, and then they have Bismack Biyombo coming off the bench. He played a couple minutes. He was minus 11 in 5 minutes. And then they had Landale coming off the bench. But when you're able to dominate the post in those minutes that Ayton isn't on the court, I think that's going to be a big part of this series. So something to watch. DeAndre Ayton's going to be a key to the Phoenix Suns having a chance in this series. He's going to have to be able to play big minutes. He's going to have to stay out of foul trouble. I mean, he played 33 minutes, which is a little low tonight, but he was a plus 13. So when DeAndre Ayton was on the basketball court, the Phoenix Suns were playing high-level basketball, being able to compete in that rebounding battle. But when he gets off the court, they really struggle. So that's what I think the key is going to be going into game 2. I can't wait to watch what's going to happen. This was a huge game for Russell Westbrook. Love seeing his energy, love seeing his passion. The battle of Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant, and even Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, old teammates. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be a lot to watch. We're going to evaluate a little bit more of what we see going into that one. About to sit back and watch this Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves game. Pumped for that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all watching. Cyborg out.